looking for the blitz. Football in July, what a beautiful concept. Welcome to the first edition of the Football Fix, your MSG Varsity Tri-State football show all throughout the summer here online and of course on MSG Varsity channel 614 and channel 414 as well. I am your host, Kevin Devaney Jr. We're going to go around the entire Tri-State, catch you up on recruiting news, 7-on-7 showcases, combines, catch up with teams at team camps, and a whole lot more. We're going to start our show off in Long Island with the United Healthcare Empire Challenge, the 19th annual, aka better known as the Boomer Bowl, and it was held last week in Long Island. And if you don't know, it is the top players from Long Island against the top talent from New York City. And it was another barn burner. Long Island came in with a 3-game winning streak. We go out and we check out with Kenny Albert and Mike Quick to see if Long Island can make it a 4th.
Cruz fakes the handoff to Holloman, under pressure. Now throws to the end zone. Oh, a tremendous defensive play made by Jake Carlock. All right, here we go. 4th and 10 for Long Island. As Kosas throws and the catch is made for a first down. It's a huge play for Long Island. This is Kosas. He takes it himself to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Long Island. Capo Bianco firing downfield. It is Trent Crossan. And Crossan is tackled at the 5-yard line by Henry Smith. Now on 2nd down, this is Lewin, and he is in for a New York City touchdown. Ball came loose at the end of the run. Long Island says they have it, and they do. On 3rd and 10. And Long Island would take it 95 yards. And now a first down and more. Inside the 10, the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown, Josh Valentin.
No hurry, you have 2 timeouts, over 3 minutes left. Just settle in.
Pass is picked off, and it is taken all the way into the end zone by Lawson Prendergast. 13-point lead for Long Island. App off the fake to the end zone. Touchdown, Lamont Bryant. 24-18, Long Island over New York City in the 19th annual United Healthcare Empire Challenge.
You know, I saw him run the crow route, and my job was to flatten him play. Then I looked, I saw the ball, I just jumped in, took it to the house. I'm pretty known back at St. John's for taking pigs to the house, so that's my specialty, and I like to do it in the biggest stage.
I've had a lot of support going through my entire high school career, and I know that this is the real deal here. You got the best of Long Island versus the best of the city, and I feel like I need to represent my school and just give everything I got.
It's an amazing chance to be here, and games that I played in and the success I had last year, it was just a great experience, and I'm just very blessed to be here.
You told me being part of this United Healthcare Empire Challenge is like being an NFL player. Why?
Yeah, I mean, every day you come into the locker room, it's a college atmosphere. Everybody, coaching staff helping you out with your stuff, and everything's prepared for you when you're getting ready to practice. And we get this nice uniforms and jerseys and helmets, and it's just a blessing to be here.
So Long Island makes it 4 in a row over New York City. Lawson Prendergast, as you see right there. He had the interception return for a touchdown, the biggest blow in this game. The difference being that Joe Percival of St. Anthony's and Joe Sotomayor of St. Anthony's also starring in this game as well. And Ben Kosas, we'll hear about more of him in just a moment. That is the Long Island squad, the notable players from the Empire Challenge. And the New York City squad held their own, made it a game. Last year's game, not so close. This year, they hang tight, but they couldn't pull it out in the end. And you see some of the future stars in college right there. Jose Duncan Jr. from Erasmus Hall. He's headed to Rhode Island. Kendall Poirier, William Solomon, Darren Pert, and Antoine Holloman. A very solid squad for New York City, but not enough as Long Island, as we said, makes it 4 in a row. Now, during the broadcast of this game, you can watch this game in its entirety on MSGVarsity.com or, of course, on demand. A lot of people from the Hudson Valley, where I'm from, were asking me, how do I get involved next year in this game? How do I get involved? How do I play? It's only open, as you say, to New York City and to Long Island players. And some of the people in the Hudson Valley say, hey, I play in the Catholic League. I play at Iona Prep, Stepanak. Why can't I participate? Maybe if Boomer Esiason is listening to that, it's something that maybe even the playing field a little bit. Maybe Long Island's winning streak will end here, get a competitive game. Again, if you include some of those Iona Prep, Stepanak kids, Kadir Shepard of Iona Prep, one of those guys who reached out to me and asked me about getting involved in it next year. We have a whole year to plan. Maybe we'll get the Iona Prep, Stepanak, or even Section 1 or Section 9 players involved in this next year as well. We're going to talk about All-Star games a whole lot more later in the show. We're going to talk about New Jersey All-Star games, a whole slew of them. It seems like every county has their own All-Star game going on this summer, but we're going to head back out to the Boomer Bowl and meet up with that MVP, Ben Kosis, as he talks to Carl Reuter.
It's a great experience overall, just to be out here with all these great guys, sick athletes. Most of them are going to college for football, actually, and I just couldn't be more happy of everyone here. So,
well, the Southpaw from East Islip wants to know why you might not be playing some football. He loves you at QB.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple times.
You might want to rethink that. There's no money in lacrosse. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but we'll see what happens.
Well, you had a great game, and congratulations.
Boomer Esiason knows a little bit about making some money playing football, and you see Ben Kosis is going to play lacrosse at the next level. We're going to take the pads off. No more All-Star games. We're going to go to some 7-on-7s. One of them is going to be aired live on MSGVarsity.com. This being the 6th annual 7-on-7 passing tournament hosted by the National Football Foundation. That game is on Saturday, July 12th. Starts at 9 a.m. The finals, semifinals, and finals will air on MSGVarsity.com. We're shooting for most likely going to be around 3 o'clock. Make sure you follow at MSGVarsity, Twitter, and follow the updates on when the game, those semifinals and finals will exactly be online. As I said, more All-Star games to talk about. We're going to bring in Mike Kinney later in the show from New Jersey to talk about their slew of All-Star games, including the North-South game, the Basilone Bowl, and a whole lot more. And when we return, we're going to take a little bit of a break. When we return, talk some Hudson Valley recruiting news and a major coaching change up in Westchester.
This fall, take the field with the leader in high school sports. When MSG Varsity football returns, go to MSGVarsity.com for all the hard-hitting action, game-breaking playmakers, high school powerhouses, and biggest rivalries. MSG Varsity football returns this September at your home for high school sports. On air at MSG Varsity Channel 614 and online at MSGVarsity.com. Only on Optimum.
Looking for the blitz. We talked about some significant recruiting news in the Hudson Valley. A pair of teammates going to be headed to the Ivy League playing different sports, but Tim DeGraw and Andrew Livingston, standout football players at Rye High School, Class A finalists last year in Section 1. They're both headed to the Ivy League, and Andrew Livingston is going to play quarterback at Brown. Tim DeGraw, a second-team All-Metro selection, a first-team All-Hudson Valley selection in baseball, going to be playing baseball at Yale University. Deontay Roberts from Erasmus Hall, 6'2", 205 pounds, linebacker. He's going to play at Rutgers, chose Rutgers over Central Florida and Boston College. Sinjin Erskine, a 6'2 lefty from Barnegat High School, really explosive player. If you watch him on highlights, he's verbally committed to play at Bucknell. And in Long Island, we had an award given out. The first annual Marcus Henry Award went to Joe Percival, who's going to play at Princeton from St. Anthony's. And Marcus Henry, of course, was a longtime sports writer at Newsday who passed away way too early last spring. And now we head into Westchester County, where we talked about a pretty significant coaching change, and really last minute. This is not the time of the year where a coach of Art Troilo's stature steps down or resigns or retires, whatever he wants to call it. But he did this past week. Officially, he steps down as Harrison football coach after 28 seasons and a very successful run that he had. And he's a part of the best rivalry in Section 1 football, the Rye-Harrison game, and he leaves about a month before the start of football camps, and various reasons as to why. It's been long rumored that he was going to resign, that he was going to step down. He reached out to some people recently and said it was really on his mind because it's just the stress of coaching football year after year was kind of getting to him. Who knows what the true story is with Art Troilo, Either way, he steps down, he resigns as football coach, and will head into retirement after he said 28 seasons, 18 league championships, won a pair of state titles, one of which was with maybe the best player ever in high school football in Westchester County, being Sam Maldonado. So Art Troilo leaves quite a legacy at Harrison High School. Dominic Zanat, the JV coach, will move up and take over the head coaching duties at Harrison High School. As we said, just a month away to the start of the season. We spoke to some of the coaches around the Hudson Valley about Art Troilo's impact and the legacy he leaves in the county.
Between his father and himself and the Huskies, what they've done, their program speaks for itself in terms of state championships and sectional championships. He's done a great job.
Well, I just found out about that. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, Coach is a great coach. I know Coach. I actually played for Coach. He was an assistant at Rhinebeck when I was there. I've known Coach Troilo for a long period of time. It's going to be a big loss for the section. He did a great job.
I've known Arnie all my life, and it's sad. It's sad to see him go. He's a fixture in Section 1 and just a great guy, and coaching comes second. The lives that he changed along the way is just phenomenal, and I wish him nothing but the best.
Outpouring of support and people sad to see Art Troilo resign and retire after all those seasons from Harrison players and people in the community reach out on Twitter. And definitely a tough time in the school as they enter an interesting football season. Who knows where they're going to be in the landscape of Section 1 Class A football heading into 2014. We now go up to Section 9 football, where, you know, if you're from New Jersey, Long Island, you're probably wondering, how do all these teams in Westchester and Hudson Valley get to play year-round football with full pads? There really are no rules in New York State for the most part, and teams in Westchester and even in Section 9 take full advantage. They host full team, full workout camps, and one of those big camps is the Camp of Champions in Section 9, which features all the best teams in Section 9. You have your defending champions, Marlboro in Section 9, Monroe Woodbury, your Class AA state finalists. And Monroe Woodbury was a team that, you know, year after year, you wonder, how are they going to recover? They lose Kevin Carr, an all-state quarterback. They lose 4 starting linemen. Brendan Doney, only kid who comes back, and he goes from guard to center. Obviously a new position for him as well. Cole Jeanette's back, Jesse Kaffenberger's back for Monroe Woodbury, and it looks like the Crusaders, at least from what I saw at the Camp of Champions last week, they're back on their path to be competing at least for a Section 9 Class AA championship. Going to be very tough competition. They play some tough non-league games early on, and they're going to have Newburgh Free Academy and all the talent they have returning from last year. They met in last year's Section 9 championship game. But Monroe Woodbury's schedule for 2014 is going to be that it works out for them because of all the new faces that they have. It's really front-loaded for the most part. And they're going to, you know, we're going to talk about that schedule in a moment. But I think that, you know, when you have a guy like Cole Jeanette, and you have a running back like him, ran for over 1,000 yards last season. He really broke out at this camp last year. When you can lean on a guy like Jeanette, Monroe Woodbury is starting at a very good point. And we spoke to Cole Jeanette after the Camp of Champions last week, and we got his take on how things are progressing entering 2014. Cole, I know last year's camp, I think, was when you really broke out and established yourself as a starter. How do you feel this year compared to last season?
This year I'm definitely stepping up in a role because now I've been on the team for, it's going to be my 3rd year. So I'm a leader, trying to put everyone into their spots, trying to work together as a team. So hopefully we can have a good season like last.
I know last year at this camp, you didn't have nearly as many question marks as you have this season coming off a run to the state title game. How do you feel as a team did this week overall?
I think we started off slow. We definitely picked it up as a team, came together, and had a good overall week. I know we're going to have a bullseye on our back the whole season after making it to the Dome. So we just got to step up every game. I
think the biggest thing people might want to see was how Ryan O'Malley did stepping into the quarterback spot for Kevin Carr. How does Ryan perform this week, and how does he compare to Kevin?
Ryan did a great job. He's very similar to Kevin. They both have a lot of the same things. I think overall he had a great week.
From a recruiting standpoint, just give me where you go. I know this has been a busy summer, no time for a job, no time to do much, but how do you feel on the recruiting trail right now?
It's pretty good. It's a long road, a lot of work. Been going to a bunch of prospect camps. Most schools it's linebacker, but we'll see what happens. Running back. I mean, hopefully we'll have a good season.
I know you like the running back position. Do you envision yourself as a running back in college?
I see it right now. My size is kind of more running back, but pick up my speed and maybe we'll see what happens.
I know Kevin last year, the way you guys ran the offense, it was very split, 50-50 a lot of ways. And yeah. How do you feel it's going to be this season? Do you see maybe more of a workload as a fullback?
Maybe with experience and maybe a little more on me, but I think overall we'll all come together as a team and work together.
And I know it's only mid-July, early July. Expectation, what's the goal for you guys as a team?
Well, obviously to make it back to the Dome, but little steps at a time. Work hard off season, nonstop, and we'll see what happens.
Does Newburgh, hearing the name Newburgh, get you excited?
Oh, that's all we ever think about, but we're going to take it one game at a time.
Cole Jeanette, a Division I AA recruit. Monmouth, one of the schools in on him. Delaware, he's gone to a lot of prospect camps. A lot of people like him as a running back. Last year was all about picking your poison with Monroe Woodbury. You're going to try and stop the quarterback or try and stop the running back, and they both went over 1,000 yards rushing. I think Cole Jeanette on his way for maybe 1,500 yards. Maybe he might even take a run at 2,000. He's just that improved from last season after running for 1,000 last year. Here's Monroe Woodbury's schedule, and as you see, Holy Cross and Stepinac, a couple of Catholic school teams on the early parts, non-league games on the schedule. Really the big game, the circle that they have right now is on Newburgh Free Academy in week 4. You have Kingston, Middletown, Pine Bush, and Washingtonville, as you said. Newburgh is the game. I mean, they beat them twice last year, once in the regular season handily, and then they beat them on a last-minute drive in the Section 9 title game. And you saw Newburgh Free Academy last year just continue to grow as a team. This year, they are the favorites. Monroe Woodbury is really the second team now. It's going to be interesting to see how the Crusaders develop. And they're going to have time to develop, as we said before, because of that early season schedule. Starting off with back-to-back games against Catholic school teams. They ended their season last year facing a Catholic private school team, and that being Aquinas in the Class AA state title game. Not something that sit very well with people, and even Bernie Connolly, their head coach from Monroe Woodbury, still not too pleased about the private schools playing against the publics.
Here's the philosophy I told you besides. Until the state does something, if I got to go play Aquinas again in the Dome, I might as well play Catholic schools now. Yeah. What's the difference? I might as well play better to get better. And so people in the league pretty much, Newburgh's going to play 2 of them. Warwick's got 1, and Cornwall's going to play 1.
So you'd be a proponent for getting the Catholic schools out of the public?
And when it says New York State Public High School Championship, then it should be public schools. Yes. You want to go federation? You change that title.
Excellent. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
I think if Bernie Connolly was holding that microphone, he might have just dropped it as he walked away from during the interview with me there. Very heated. He gets, anytime you bring this subject up to him, and I think for good reason. I think a lot of people want to say, if it's going to be called the Public School Championship in New York, you have your public and non-public in New Jersey. If it's going to be called the Public School Championship, don't allow private schools in. And Aquinas last year had a quarterback named Jake Zembeck, who was basically the Tom Brady of high school football. He's terrific. He's a 5-star recruit. Notre Dame has already offered him. He was only a sophomore last year. They're going to have everyone playing for second place in New York State again this year because Aquinas is loaded and they don't play a regular public school schedule. They face all non-league games and then they just enter the Section 5 playoffs. So it's going to be very tough, a tough sell in the next couple of years if Aquinas keeps winning for teams in the public schools to want to allow the private schools in. Could be football the one that causes this change finally in New York State. And we caught up with Monroe Woodbury. We have a whole feature on Monroe Woodbury online at MSGVarsity.com. Them and so many more teams in the Hudson Valley. Make sure you log on to MSGVarsity.com. And as we go camping throughout the Hudson Valley, Section 1 and Section 9 teams, a couple of Catholic school teams mixed in there. You see right there, the quarterback of Chester, Vinny Alloy. I thought he was the best quarterback as a Class D school. He might have been the best quarterback at that camp, at the Camp of Champions last week. Again, online, MSGVarsity.com, and read up about teams as we do one team per day, counting down to the 2014 season. One of the teams from New Jersey that took advantage of putting on some pads and doing some limited workouts with teams in the Hudson Valley was Old Tappan. And their coach, Brian Dunn, we caught up with him last week at Clarkstown South High School's camp, and we put a microphone on him, and we got to listen to some very interesting tidbits of him as a coach.
No. Where are your feet now? All right, this is what we talk about all the time with you. Get aligned, do the technique first, and then you'll be a good player. Let's go. Give the guards time to get out, right, on the pass, okay? Otherwise, you just be right in his back. It's not like, like you watch NFL films and the guy's like holding his back like that. We don't want to play like that. We want the guard inside there and give him a chance to be the full block inside, the wall block inside, and then you can read the hole, right? You don't want to be up on his back. On. Right through, read his head, right? Hey. Challenge yourself in the drill, right? Read his head, you're coming up, you see his head, stick it and go, right? Drop the inside shoulder and go, okay? Don't just kind of run through like you're going through the motions, right? Okay? It's not like TV where you just kind of half-hearted all the way through to the other side, right? Run through the center, then turn, get your shoulders parallel on the slide. All right? And make sure you get there so you can hear the call. That's really what your priority is. Run over there so you hear what the guard and tackler's saying. Okay? All right, let's go line ace right. Hurry up. What are we dragging for here? Let's go. Uno. Now, whoever doesn't get the ball is going to be real embarrassed by you, right? Like they're going to be pissed. It's the way it is, man. We'll see what he thinks of everybody right now. Oh, Devaney, that's cold, man. That's cold.
Off the block.
Now you got to explain yourself to Devaney. First of all, when you're wide receiver, where's your head always? In, watching the ball, because you can't hear the cadence, right? On December 5th, you're going to be able to hear him when everybody's screaming and yelling, right? So you're looking inside, and you're looking at the most dangerous guy. If he ends up coming in inside here, he's not most dangerous anymore, all right? Okay?
This fall, take the field with the leader in high school sports. When MSG Varsity football returns, go to MSGVarsity.com for all the hard-hitting action, game-breaking playmakers, high school powerhouses, and biggest rivalries. MSG Varsity football returns this September at your home for high school sports. On air at MSG Varsity Channel 614 and online at MSGVarsity.com. Only on Optimum.
Looking for the blitz.
So it's 3rd and 5 from the 41. And Zuhon setting up a screen to Dirk Gash. Nice play. Makes the catch and takes it down the sideline. Still on his feet. Makes a great run here. Here's Dirk Gash. Gets into the open. He's at the 30-yard line. To the 20. At the 10-yard line. He will take it all the way. Touchdown, Leathernecks.
That was our own MSGVarsity.com announcer Lou Brogno on the call there for the Basilone Ball, a 21-14 win and a great game. One of the many games, the All-Star Bowl games in the great state of New Jersey. That was the Somerset County All-Stars. And we're going to bring in our expert MSGVarsity.com reporter Mike Kinney, who joins us now via Skype. And Mike, I laughed. I said, how many All-Star games do you guys have in New Jersey? Does every county seem to have one?
Just about, yeah. You know, as far as Central and North Jersey, you got about 7. Yeah, they go from June 7th until about, July 17th, they wrap up with 2 the same night, down the shore and the Snapple Bowl in Middlesex and Union.
And I know you've been to 4 of these games already so far. Let's start with the Basilone Bowl. And a great story in that one. I just feel like, guys who get injured and don't get a chance to kind of put a final stamp on their career, you feel bad for them, but one guy in this game sure did.
Yeah, Gary Roach from Boundbrook, not only end the season, but at the very beginning of the season, he suffered a leg injury. Second game, they won their first game. Second game, they were losing, to a good team, but he had rushed for 200 yards plus 3 touchdowns in those first 2 games, and he was out for the rest of the season after that second game, looking for some redemption, and he found it in the Basilone Bowl. He did a great job of running the ball and setting up a touchdown for the Devil Dogs and leading them to the win. He was fantastic that day.
And Izzy Sanders as well, and winning the overall MVP of this game and a big touchdown. Just the way he played, I mean, was it any surprise that he was able to kind of separate himself from this pack?
Not really. As far as quarterbacks go, he was the most athletic, no doubt about it. He led Immaculata to a very good season. He's a kid. He transferred from Franklin the year before. But he's a kid you expected something to happen. He scored the winning touchdown on a 14-yard run, very nice run, a little bootleg, and then found some space and scored. But he did a very good job of directing them and the Devil Dogs in the second half to that win. And they did a good job of controlling the football, and Gary Roach was a big part of that. But Izzy Sanders and a couple of his Immaculata guys, they made a difference.
And defensive stop in this game was a deciding factor.
Yeah, no doubt about it. After they scored down the stretch, the last 2 drives by the Leathernecks, Vinny Sokowski from Immaculata and Scott Royster from Immaculata and Jack Fanning, linebacker from Bridgewater, did a great job of just controlling them and stopping them. The Leathernecks, great job of trying to get back and win the game, but those guys stepped up big time defensively. It was a real good game, solid football game.
It seems like all these games have been good, and we go now to the North-South game, another good one as well. I think this is, you think, is most prestigious of all the games, and it drew a very good crowd and a very good crop of talent in this one as well.
Yeah, Kevin, it's always been the most prestigious. Now, in the past, I will say, the North-South game did get bit.
As we lose Mike there for a second, but again, it was this really. I'm sorry, Mike, you're back.
Yep.
Come on.
Yep. We used to have Division I guys more in that game, and I think Phil Sims is trying to get that back. He actually spoke about that. that there was a paucity of Division I guys in this game, and he'd love to see those guys back and playing in this game. But still very competitive because you got guys from all over the state playing. And it was a good, solid chess match of a football game, not what you expect out of a North-South All-Star game.
Yeah, and the South won this game 20-14, and it was Anthony Gargiulo of Colsonac who was the difference in the end.
Yeah, Anthony Gargiulo did a great job. He scored the winning touchdown. Now, Chris Nogis from Manalapan recovered the fumble on the 12-yard line. He actually went to the huddle. This is Gargiulo. He went to the huddle. He's a very humble kid. He's going to the Naval Academy, and he sounds and talks and plays like a kid who's perfect for the Naval Academy. But he went to the huddle, unlike what he would normally do and say, hey, listen, I have a feeling about this. Please give me the ball. They said, yeah, fine. Whatever you want, Anthony. And he carried about 4 guys into the end zone. It was an excellent run, and he was outstanding in that game, just outstanding. And he did a good job of helping the South control the football in the second half.
Be sure to go online at MSGVarsity.com. We have full highlights of that game. We actually have the entire Basilone Bowl game online. You can watch it in its entirety on MSGVarsity.com. After the North-South game, we spoke to Phil Simms, who's kind of put his own staple on this game, his own mark on this game. We spoke to him afterwards about what he's going to do to make this game better next season.
But being here, watching how the game is run and everything, I promise you next year is going to be a lot of changes, and I learned a lot. You know, to how to treat the coaches better, to how to make the experience better for the players and the coaches. And I'll tell you the biggest thing, we want the quality of play to go up, and I think it will. We're going to be very involved in getting the right kids here to the game. I've got a great committee that's going to make the calls of these high school kids, and it's okay to play in a high school all-star game. You know, it's fun.
You know, Mike, when you watch that interview, I think Phil Simms was a little hard on himself after that game. I think the quality of the game and the turnout was pretty solid.
Yes, the turnout was very solid, and the crowd was excited, and the kids played good football. But you know what it is? Phil would like to see it as a higher-level game. He'd like to see more of those big-time kids. And he even said he's going to work on getting them. And he said, and he doesn't think there's any reason why these guys shouldn't be playing, you know, an all-star game in the summer, because it's fun and because it's football. Some of the D1 schools have gotten a little worried about their guys playing into July, in June, late June, and they've asked them not to play. And that's why you had a little star power, a little late on star power. But I'll tell you what, competitively, you couldn't ask for a better football game. It was a good, solid football game. But Phil, he wants to put his stamp on it. He had a little NFL star power on the sideline there with Joe Theismann and Jim Burton, a couple other guys, a couple former Piscataway stars were on the sideline there. So you had some star power, but most of it was on the sideline and not in the game.
Yeah, if Phil Simms can't resurrect a game like this and improve a game like this, I don't know who in the Tri-State can. You see Boomer Esiason and the great turnout they have in the Empire Classic, so you have to imagine that Phil's going to do the same thing out in New Jersey. Another game, the Sunshine Bowl, the best from Mercer County, took place last week. You were at that game as well, and it was Chad Scott of Robbinsville who just kind of took over the game a little bit in some points.
Chad Scott scored the first touchdown, and again, you know, his team, the East team, and in the Sunshine Classic, did a great job of controlling the football, and he was a big reason why they did. He and Ryan Wharton from Trenton, they were the guys. They were the 1-2 punch out of that backfield, and they were able to, you know, with the line pushing, they were able to control in between the tackles. They got outside a couple times, but the key was they actually were outgained the East in this game by the West, but they controlled the clock, and it was because of those two guys. He was fantastic. He's a kid going into Rowan, and I think he's having a nice career down there in that NJAC, playing for Rowan University.
Yeah, and all-star games never really come down to defense, but I think the East linebackers were really what decided this game in the end.
They were outstanding. Yeah, Javon Clark was outstanding out of the secondary. Out of Trenton. Trenton represented very well. Trumaine Nieves, linebacker from Trenton, and Corey McShannon, outside linebacker from Northern Burlington. They were outstanding. Absolutely right. You know, in a good football game, who's going to control defense? It's the linebackers. And they did in this game. And again, these All-Star games have been very competitive. Chess matches, well balanced games. And you know, you might not see the really high flyers in this game, but it's good football, and this game was no exception.
Mike, you're going to be out in more All-Star games. We're going to have actually All-Star games online on MSGVarsity.com. You can tune in on July 17th and watch the U.S. Army All-Shore Gridiron Classic. Greg Lerner will be out of that game. That game starts at 7 p.m. You're headed to the Snapple game, the Middlesex vs. Union All-Star game. Mike, we want to thank you for joining us, and we'll hopefully have you on next week.
Anytime. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
All right, so Mike Kinney, MSGVarsity.com reporter, does a great job covering football in New Jersey. Make sure to tune in every single week, MSGVarsity.com, the football fix. I'm your host, Kevin Devaney Jr. I want to thank you for watching. Be sure to hit me up on Twitter, @MSGVarsityKDJ. Tell us what we can do better next week and throughout the summer. Thanks for watching.